This next story is just a funny one about the highly triggerable nature of Donald Trump. We've already done all the serious stuff related to impeachment. When will the trial be? What happened? What were the votes? What are the articles? All that stuff. You know how Trump always wants to be the best at everything? The most this, the best that. He has the biggest thing or whatever. Trump was impeached with more votes against him than any previous president. And this is particularly notable since there are numerous vacancies in the House of Representatives right now. We already talked about the big picture. Trump is only the third president to be impeached. Trump has been impeached by the most overwhelming vote margin in the House of any other president, which is hilarious. Now, I want to be very clear. The House was smaller when Andrew Johnson was impeached. So by percentage, a higher proportion voted to impeach Andrew Johnson than Trump. But in terms of sheer numbers, Clinton got no more than 228 votes to impeach on either article. Andrew Johnson had 126 in favor. The House was smaller then. And Donald Trump, on the other hand, had 230 and 229 in favor of the impeachment. Trump is the most impeached president in history. Again, not the highest portion, but the highest number. And of course, Trump tweeting this morning in all caps, once again, the refrain, presidential harassment. Remember that back in 2014, when Barack Obama was president, Donald Trump said, he called into Fox News and he said, listen, aside from a conviction, merely being impeached for a president turns you into a mess. Obama would be a mess under impeachment. Obama would be thinking of nothing other than impeachment. This is Trump talking about this back in 2004, what year? 2014. Sorry, take a look.
Do you think Obama seriously wants to be impeached and go through what Bill Clinton did? He would be a mess. He would be thinking about nothing but. It would be a horror show for him. It would be an absolute embarrassment. It would go down on his record permanently. But they're saying, oh, he'd love to be impeached. That would be so good. And the Republicans are all saying, oh, we'd never impeach him. We'd never impeach him because he'd like that.
Well,
and the Republicans, and I'm a Republican, and the Republicans.
We have to assume that this is likewise a horror show for Donald Trump, an embarrassment for Donald Trump on Trump's permanent record, as he said it would be on Barack Obama's. But back to the story. This is why it matters. I get it. Trump was impeached with the largest number of votes, but it was just over 50% of the votes compared to the overwhelming percentage that voted to impeach Andrew Johnson. This is a reminder about the importance of voting in the midterms. Every vote for impeachment last night was an election that was fought and won in the midterms, right? Dozens or more volunteers and staffers were involved in each of those congressional elections in the midterms of 2018. Each vote is a congressional district that Democrats won in 2018. This should remind us how directly our effort during midterms translates into real things in the real world. So if you volunteered on a campaign in 2018 and that candidate won, you volunteered and caused there to be 230 votes to impeach instead of 229, or 229 instead of 228, depending on the article. This stuff has real world impact. And we need to always remember this, especially in non-presidential election years, in midterm years, where turnout is often lower, engagement also tends to be much lower. Every single one of those campaigns represents one impeachment vote. They are up for re-election every 2 years in the House of Representatives. They're up again right now. And there is no greater reminder of the importance of this. And by the way, what's going on with judges is another reminder, but we'll talk about that right after this next short break.